to the Streets Barber project, a place where people who believe in the fundamental goodness of human beings can come to find stories, ideas, hope, community, and inspiration to go out and serve in their own way.
Nasir, you are the Streets Barber.
That's me.
Yeah, that's you. Basically, you have a passion for people, you have a passion for cutting hair, and you just put the two together and you started going out in the streets of Melbourne, giving homeless people haircuts. So this is how it started. Then it became something much bigger. Do you want to tell us maybe how you got from, you know, the Nasir before to the Streets Barber?
I was a drug addict for many years. I sobered up. My new drug became cutting hair. I used making people look good, feel good, smell good, you know what I mean? All these different things into my new passion. That was the new way of getting high. Seeing that smile on a person's face, coming into my chair really mundane, leaving like they're a superhero. And then I realized the confidence I was giving someone else is something that I needed back then when I was desperate for that.
Do you think there's misconceptions about homeless people in general? People try to, well, don't even like look at them as real people?
Yeah, the issue of homelessness, yeah, people walk by thinking, oh, they're just another homeless person. Just another homeless person, you know?
They might think also, well, they're obviously choosing to have this kind of lifestyle, no?
So at the end of the day, everyone has a choice to make a decision, right? But I think sometimes choice is a little bit harder than usual. A client I just had a few weeks ago, his name was Mick, and he's like, man, you know, I've had it really good all my life. You know, I came from a good family, it wasn't a broken home. Unfortunately, I got involved with some wrong stuff, and now I'm, you know, a slave to the heroin. Some of these people that I come across, man, they've had it crappy since the first breath. They don't really stand a chance. Do they have a choice? Yeah. Do they stand a chance? Not like us. So it's hard to make a choice when you barely have a chance.
Sometimes with your mind, it's very hard to change some subconscious, like perceptions about yourself, because I think it comes down to that, doesn't it? Like you talked about your own self-esteem being very low, and I think when your self-esteem is so low that it's very hard to change that unless you've got some kind of support, which is a bit what you give them, no?
I had the support of my family and like my friends and my ex-girlfriend at the time, and you know, those who really loved me were there.
And it was still hard.
Of course, but I can only imagine how much harder it would have been if I had no one, you know? Not a support system to really help me get through what I needed to go through to fight off my demons.
I love it that you talk about demons, because it's like illusions that are in your own mind, you know? Absolutely. And you need to like those are the hardest things to win over in life, I feel.
The addiction of a substance, you know what I mean, can be one of the hardest things in the world and one of the most difficult things to overcome.
Even the addiction to low self-esteem, I find, because I've never used substances, but I know something about the addiction to, you know, belittling yourself.
Imagine feeling belittled, but then using a drug to counteract that feeling, which momentarily satisfies you. But then once you're off that drug, you feel even worse than you did before. So what you have to do is use that drug again to feel better.
And so you find that a lot of people on the streets, this is what they fight.
They fight with that, yeah. They fight with the fact that they got no support system. They fight with shame of what they've done, you know, all their lives in regards for no family, or they maybe left their kids, or just the fact that they're not functioning members of society. The reason why I didn't want to be a barber for many years was because I thought to myself, I can't do this to my family. My family comes from a line of scholars, academics, prestigious members of society.
So eventually you found your passion, you accepted it, you embraced it, and you started to do something really good with it.
The whole Streets Barber Project thing came from just the concept of the Baha'i faith. And the number one thing about being a Baha'i is service to humanity. No matter who they are, what walk of life they come from. It's not about a religion of words, it's about a religion of action. Another Baha'i writing, it's to make a sacrifice is to receive a gift.
Oh.
And it's so true, and I've seen that so evident in so many aspects of my life. So not only did I get my life back, you know, from the addiction, now I want to help others get their life back as well. It started off with trying to help out people that were in similar situations with me, you know, battling with drug abuse, and on the streets and stuff. Not saying that I was ever on the streets, I had the support of my family, but I had to still deal with those demons that we were talking about. We started targeting homeless people around Melbourne, you know, and gained some momentum. It was amazing. Before you knew it, you know, I was featured on several TV shows, and then there was a documentary made about me by this local documentary film crew called Pilgrim. And once that, was shot and aired and went live, man, that spread like wildfire. It was amazing. I guess you could say it went viral. Uh, it went on all the major like publication sites, and I'm telling you, it literally went around the world.
Can I just say, I think a big part of it is that because I can genuinely see how sincere you are.
That was all hype and everything. I still went out. Obviously, the hype dies down. Everyone has their 15 minutes of fame or whatever. But I'm still doing the same thing I was doing right before that all happened.
But you rode a bit that wave to do even more, actually.
I guess that's what the Streets Barber mission is all about. It's a place for people to get inspired. And yeah, maybe I don't know how, but I inspired people. I didn't expect to do it. I just wanted to share stories and do something for someone else. The homeless people are very, very important to the project. But there's obviously people who need it as well. We targeted the refugee community. There's a whole bunch of these Sudanese African youth that I kind of kick it with down in Footscray, and they always like to get lined up. And I would kick it with them and talk to them, share their stories, and talk to them about various things. They would tell me about the war, they were dealing with in Sudan. I'm planning on doing other stuff like going to hospices, and I want to share their stories, not about how they're gonna die, but how they lived.
You kind of like to give a voice to people that don't usually have a voice.
Absolutely, share their story. Luckily we've got a couple of viewers and a couple people who like to follow their stories, so share their stories to people. If you don't want your story to be shared, I'll still give you a haircut. Let me at least hear your story.
The thing I like the most about what you do is that when you read your post, you recognize the human being that's behind that homeless face that people might just stop at. So you show the person behind it.
I'm happy you noticed that. That's the whole purpose. Streets Barber mission is gaining more and more momentum, and I think the future plan is that I'm going to have a team of street barbers established throughout the world. And I made a day, August 5th is when I want to go out and do like a international Streets Barber Day.
I just love how you just dream big, like you just don't put it in a box.
We're making a Streets Barber hair product line, and a percentage of it is going to go into this non-for-profit that we're starting to help fund, maybe a potential tour around the world. Yeah, so you can't aim low if you want to dream big.
And isn't this something you always wanted to do, to be able to travel?
Yeah, it's funny. That's the reason why I studied to become a history teacher, is because I figured, you can teach anywhere around the world. So,
and there you go.
Now I'm doing something that I love, and I still want to travel, so yeah.